And I was just thinking, like, people were clamoring to get out here, and I feel fortunate that I'm here, that I've got to witness it, sample the wares, but I just would not spend the money it takes to get back out there, mate.
Awesome. And food, obviously a massive part of why people travel, massive part of the cultures in different countries too. Would you consider yourself a foodie?
Mate, do you watch Somebody Feed Phil?
No,
On
I've seen it on Netflix advertised.
Mate, you need to get on it. It's so good. It is so good. Obviously, this like nervous, like elderly Jewish man, and at first, as such, you think maybe this is a show for like my parents.
Yeah.
But it's actually class. It's so good. Like, me and Lauren absolutely inhaled it. Awesome. And as such, I think it's made me want to tie in food a little bit more with travel.
Awesome.
Before, it wasn't really a motivation. You know, it was I'm open to trying the native delicacies, but didn't really, like you just said, for a lot of people that is a main driver. For me, it wasn't, wasn't really a big deal. I gotta say, when I went to Lisbon, the food there was incredible.
So good, isn't it?
Because it's so fresh, and you're like, do I want like sardines? Like, sardines are a bit like, I've had them in a cone in Chroma. They're gnarly. I don't want them. Why does this guy keep offering them to me, saying they're the best thing on the menu? You have them, and you're like, like, I've never tasted like sardines like that before. So yeah, Lisbon, incredible. Obviously, the Time Out food hall there,
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, class. Obviously the natters. Did you have the natters while you were out there?
Yep, absolutely.
Just
has to be
unreal.
Done.
Just like 4 in one go.
Yeah,
just decadence, mate. Pure gluttony. Put about 6 like pounds on while I'm out there. Pounds? Do English people say pounds?
I reckon we can go pounds.
I've been watching too much Somebody Feed Phil. Yeah, and Reykjavik, actually. Have you been to Iceland? Have you been to Reykjavik?
No, I've never been to Iceland. Never. I seem to be kind of drawn to the warmer countries. I kind of do not deal well with being cold. So as a result, I've actually never been to Scandinavia. So that's definitely somewhere I need to go. I feel like, especially doing this podcast as well, people kind of come on with the expectation that I've been everywhere, and there's very many gaps in my list of places to go. So would you recommend Reykjavik?
Got those ambitions though. Yeah, Reykjavik it's expensive. So you have to kind of bit more pre-planning to make sure you're not getting your pants absolutely pulled down when you get there. Like, where we were staying was like half an hour from the airport, and one taxi wanted to charge me £90 to take me there, and I was like, I will fucking walk, mate, before I pay you £90. So and like 2 coach tickets there were like £36. So, little things like that. There are little traps to avoid, because it is an expensive country, because it can afford to be, right? The people, little, not cold, but just like friendly. Yeah, I'd say like hospitable, but things felt a little bit more clinical, like in Spain or Italy, it can feel like a little bit of a mesh of things, or, your food can come late, but you don't mind because you've had 4 beers. Like, the service is on point there. The food is on point. It's so fresh. Everything just, the air is crisp, the water's cold. Like, it's one of those ones where if you want a total gear change, it's really nice. It was the same in Copenhagen, actually. Copenhagen, the food was fucking spot on, man.
So you've obviously spoken about Lisbon, Reykjavik, and now Copenhagen. Where would you say it's the best place for food that you've ever been?
I'm gonna go Copenhagen.
Okay.
Late entry.
What kind of foods?
It's just, I'm not a foodie, so I couldn't tell you what like clashes of cuisine they were or anything. But I think there's a bit of a movement out there now, particularly around like brunches, really elaborate brunches, and we've got some good recommendations. I will say that, but you go to one of these brunches, and then there's a big like craft brewery movement out there as well now, and you're around the corner from a big tap house, and you can sort of see out the whole day, eating and drinking.
Amazing.
And they're within 50 yards of one another. So the public transport's really good in Copenhagen as well. And I just remember the best scrambled eggs I've ever had. And I'm a huge egg fiend, even though apparently I'm allergic to them. Hens eggs. Doesn't matter. I'm like Patrick Severn, mate. I'm allergic to them. I'll continue to eat them. The best scrambled egg I've ever had in Copenhagen. Just like,
what's so special about them?
fluffy. Just magical, because it's so it's they're easy to do hard, but hard to elevate, right? Did I say they're easy to mess up, sorry, and hard to elevate. But this place so dainty, and the combination of foods was just unreal. It's a little bit more like scientific, I suppose.
Yeah. I get that.
Like, yeah, it's a little bit like, what's, like bloody Heston. Is there like food deity or something? Like they've taken all their nods from him. Yeah.
So is there a holiday or place or trip that means the most to you?
Another good question. Another really good question. Means the most, because that's not the best, is it?
No.
I think probably South Africa last year with my closest friends. So there was seven of us, and the main reason we went out there is because it tied in with one of my mates' mum's 50th, and she wasn't very well, and it's sort of going to be her last birthday, and sort of being introduced to their family, their close friends was really nice. Some touching moments. I don't speak to them still, but I'm like, they're going back then next year to get married, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some of them. Particularly this old guy called Mark, fought in the Boer Wars. Some of his political views, not so great, but still a great drinking buddy, which I feel like that could be said about a lot of South African people, to be perfectly honest. Completely generalizing there, but that was like a holiday that I was able to save for, plan for, take quite comfortably, knowing that work was going to be okay in the background, taken care of. We've got a good team who know what they're doing, and it was like a really relaxed trip. Nice pace. Went on safari for the first time, and there was nothing. Maybe like using that Barcelona trip where I felt really anxious as a reference. It was like completely the other end of the spectrum. I mean, when I lost our Airbnb key and we had to go and stay in a hotel, there was like £300 sleeping for 4 hours in Cape Town. You can't be wandering around the streets in Cape Town looking for somewhere to stay at 4 o'clock in the morning as 7 very pissed up British people. So it was my fault. I was like, stick it on my card. Literally slept there for like 2.5 hours. And yeah, set me back a fair whack on the very last night before we flew out, flying home with that feeling hanging. So it ended in complete dismay, but it's a funny story now to touch upon. But that was a pretty special trip. Yeah,
amazing. What's it like to go on safari then?
Incredible. You kind of run out of superlatives for being that close to an elephant. Right, you just feel like Richard Attenborough. You feel like an explorer. Richard's his brother. I went to film school. I feel like Richard. So yeah, seeing those animals in the flesh, great. I mean, we were doing things like putting our head out the window, which is apparently a big no-no.
I can't think why.
Yeah, but you feel like you're driving through the wilderness and this road and these loose structures that punctuate the wilderness every 1,000 meters means that you're safe, and you're not. Like, some woman was apparently dragged out of a car by a cheetah.
Bloody hell.
And then there's me like catching the breeze in my hair like a fucking dog. So yeah, there's definitely, you learn your safari decorum before you go, so you don't end up on a Facebook page. I think there's Facebook pages dedicated to stupid people on safari, which I'm sure I qualified for big time. But absolutely incredible. It's the first time I've probably played golf and really, really enjoyed it as well. Okay. Yeah, I had like the perfect round of golf out there.
Oh, really?
Beat 2 people that golf all the time. I'm just like every 3-4 months maybe, probably not even that, and had glorious greens, smashing it down the fairway, down the middle, driving the golf buggy around and just basking in the 30-degree heat. Yeah, it's class.
Sounds like a dream. Let's keep it positive then, before we go and find the negative aspects of travel.
Love it.
Where is a place that you could always get back to?
Lake Tahoe in California. That was a bit, being a lad from Leicester. So I don't know why the school I went to is now shut down as somewhere that takes year 10 and 11. I think it's a specialist sixth form college now. It was it was not a great school. It wasn't a bad school. And there's some really good teachers there, but it wasn't great. A little bit underfunded, served a lot of rough areas, but they put on, I think it's probably the teachers, because they got to go unbelievable trip.
Yeah.
And it was like, we go from Gufflaxton, South Wigston in Leicester, like the arse end of Leicester, to California. And when you take a bunch of kids from that environment over to California, it's just like, hold on. So there's a place that exists in the world where I can be skiing in a t-shirt, and then an hour later, I could theoretically be on a beach.
Amazing.
And that's when you think, why the fuck wasn't I raised here? Why did my mum and dad live here? Why don't they do everything they could have done to get out here? Like, the quality of life is unreal. Obviously, it's, you know, America is, the quality of life is great if you're middle class or if you've got money. The social support, maybe it's changing, you know, not so great. But being in California and realizing that, like, some people, that's some people's lives. That they ski just for something to do at the weekend. You're like, what?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, proper ridiculous. So I could always, I haven't been there since I was 17, but I definitely like to go back.
Oh, don't blame me, mate. I could go there now.
Yeah.
So with travel, everyone talks about the positive aspects, and especially I kind of feel like that in COVID, when we think about travel, we think about all these amazing elements and all the things it brings us. But we all know that travel can be really shit sometimes as well. And there's some awful times that we've experienced traveling. Is there a place that you would never go back to because of an experience you've had?
You know what, I'm going to go with what comes to mind first. It's Dubai. Like, I don't get the big deal with Dubai. Yeah. People love it, and went there, and it was soulless. It was to see my girlfriend's sister graduate. She worked for Fly Emirates, so admittedly we didn't do the cultural stuff. If there was cultural stuff to do, went to Kite Beach, went to Souk Madinat, I think it was called, which was the coolest part. But yeah, it's like a country in the Middle East trying to, I don't know, build the most glamorous aspects of US and Western Europe, like in that state, right? And as such, like, nothing really felt authentic to me. And I was just thinking, like, people were clamoring to get out here, and I feel fortunate that I'm here, that I've got to witness it, sample the wares, but I would not spend the money it takes to get back out there, mate.
Yeah, no, I get that, mate. I do agree with you. And to finish us off, a bucket list. Do you have a bucket list, first of all? I've
in lockdown, the second lockdown, I think, because I want to plan, you know, next year. I want to feel like there's going to be a sense of wonder and event next year. I've started to bank some places I want to go to in my head, for sure.
Awesome. And what tops that list?
At the minute, it's still Brazil.
Okay. Awesome.
I'd like to tie in a trip to Argentina as well. You know, sample those steaks.
Yeah, they are the place to barbecue, aren't they?
Red meaty culture out there that appeals.